I did like Ray saying, "Be sure to like and subscribe.
You know what he didn't say?
Be sure to ring that motherfucking bell."
Damn right. Welcome to Termo Boys Podcast. I'm your host, Cody. With me in second chair is the boy who's locked in an endless rivalry with Slimer. It's Jeremy.
I'll battle them to the end
Get him one of these days, Jeremy.
one of these days.
With me in third chair is the boy who doomed us all by releasing an ancient ice god, but he's not in trouble. It's Ryan.
Oh,
Totally not in trouble, Ryan.
good. All I ask. All about me.
Today, we are resuming Ghostbusters week by doing something that very few people get to do in their lifetime, and that's review a brand new Ghostbusters movie with the new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Well said.
Enjoy it while it lasts. So, before we start this review, gotta give the warning that we're gonna be discussing the new Frozen Empire movie in theaters, so be prepared for spoilers.
You've been warned.
So, Ryan, follow up from our last review. Are we getting an episode of Ryan's Rants today?
No. Thankfully, no.
Well,
Well, you might get a little mini episode, but I'll save that for later.
Ooh, juicy.
I told you Venkman wasn't gonna die.
Well,
Nope.
you know how my luck works.
He's fated to die the Star Wars death. Phased out, and then he'll become a fat force ghost.
Thought you meant Adam Driver was gonna shoot him with the proton pack.
Ryan avoided another one of his childhood heroes dying.
That's a win.
Thank God.
They lived to fight another day. So, Jeremy, what are your first thoughts on this movie?
Enjoyable movie. For the most.
No, here we go with that.
You knew it was coming.
I knew it was coming. Ryan, first thoughts. Go ahead and give me your for the most part.
I'll give you my first thoughts after you give me your first thoughts.
Ooh, switching things up. I get spicy.
Okay, well, if we're gonna mix up the formula a little, I really enjoyed this movie. I am gonna say that is it a flawless movie? Absolutely not. It's got some major problems with it, but even then, I really enjoyed it, and I felt like they were addressing some of the criticism I had about Afterlife and my expectations. But overall, it's a movie I heavily enjoyed, and I'd highly recommend to people. So, Ryan, go ahead.
All right, Ryan's going off road.
Uh-oh.
It was all right.
Okay. Fair.
So it seems like all three of us have a different opinion on the movie.
Yeah, this is exciting.
It's the first. I have a feeling like I am going to address some of the problems Ryan has, but I think you boys might have bigger problems with that stuff than I do. Now, I don't want this to be like the last review where we're just nitpicking the movie.
Okay, I won't nitpick, however. I will say the truth.
We're totally going to turn into a nitpicking review.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I want to start off with the things that I criticized last time, and it seems like the movie addressed them. First off, weaponization. If you remember when I was talking about Afterlife, I said it's like I really wanted to see like the Ghostbusters like weaponize things, and throughout this movie we start to see that. Now we don't see it as much as I'd like to. Like for instance, it's been 2 years since the last movie. The basic plot of the movie is Ghostbusters have started back up in New York. It seems like we're back to kind of square two, where the city's trying to shut them down again. Now, Ryan, if you remember last time you asked, is Ghostbusters 2 canon? And
Yes.
this time around they made sure you knew Ghostbusters 2 was canon.
It was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
They basically are sitting there trying to stay in business while an evil ice god tries breaking out of his prison, tries taking over, I guess, the world. Simple plot. Now, the weaponization, at the beginning of the movie, we see that now they've got like a drone trap.
That was cool. I'm okay with that.
And then Winston, as we mentioned in the last movie, he's kind of like the money guy now. He's been investing in like all this research, so there's like a Ghostbusters lab with like some new character. I don't remember what his name is. He's a British guy, I know that. They're developing like new technology. There's like a proton arm cannon type thing. I know Janine uses it at one point. And they've got like Ghost Trap like studying them. That stuff's like really cool. And I know like one point in the background you can see they're like testing like some new slime weapon. They just didn't go far enough with it, I think. What do you boys think?
Agreed. I did love seeing the new inventions and stuff like that. Kind of reminded me of like more like what we wanted, like with detective work, but this time it went more science based. Seeing a lot of the new weapons and gadgets, and the lab was badass. I loved it.
I love the new gadgets, and it would have been nice if they had done more with it.
Now, next thing. What's a Ghostbusters movie about? It's about busting ghosts. Was there more ghost busting in this movie? Yes. We had like the sewer dragon, and there's kind of a subplot with the whole possession ghost thing. Then Trevor's whole character is going after Slimer. But I was satisfied with it. Would I have liked there to be more of it? Yes, I would have.
I needed way more for ghost busting.
Now, here's the big thing. People are having problems with this, and I bet Ryan's having a problem with it too. I feel like there's way too many subplots in this movie.
Yes, yes, that's one of my biggest complaints about this one.
Now, Jeremy, I know last time you complained about the pace of the last movie. The last movie was, I mean, you could say it was kind of slow. This one, it feels like, well, I felt like it's moving at a good pace, but it's just like ADHD. It's like all over the place. Like, oh, here Trevor's going after Slimer. Oh, now there's like this fire ghost lady. Oh, now we go over to the research station. And like, oh, now Dan Aykroyd and podcaster doing a podcast. Like, it was just all over the place.
100% agree. The pacing was fine in this movie. There was just too damn much going on. I will say one thing before I get all nitpicky on everything else, Ray's screen time I absolutely loved. I ate that shit up.
I loved Ray in this movie. Like,
Same.
we're at the point of like Indiana Jones now, where Harrison Ford's like too damn old to do this. And the old Ghostbusters in this movie, they had like the perfect roles. Like Ray was like pretty much the star of like the old cast, where he was just constantly in the movie, and you know that Dan Aykroyd loves the series and wants to be involved with it. But he acted like kind of like the I don't know if you'd say advisor.
Older statesman.
I guess you could say that. There's probably a technical term for it, but he was pretty much the tape holding the whole new generation together because they'd always go back to him and he'd have his knowledge.
Like their
And
mentor.
yeah, that's what I want to see, like the old cast. Like Winston, he's providing money behind the scenes and like getting all the research going. And I mean, we all know Bill Murray really doesn't want to be in this series anymore. But even then, they work him in, doing his normal Bill Murray routine.
Well, he hasn't missed a beat with that, has he?
Mm.
I mean, it felt Bill Murray. He kind of felt low energy.
A lot lower than the others.
Yeah.
But still, I was satisfied.
So you think too, Ryan, right?
Yeah, he was so low energy. He should have been one of the corpses in the movie.
Okay, it's time to cut him out of the movie. I mean, we love Peter Venkman, we love Bill Murray, but like Bill Murray's done with this franchise.
You could tell if you compare Bill Murray's performance to Dan Aykroyd's, you can tell who's still in it.
Dan Aykroyd and like Ernie Hudson have been like really attached to it. Like they were even behind like 2016. We all know how much a turd that was, except for Jeremy. But we'll get into that.
Unfortunately.
But even with the low energy, it felt good with how they used the characters. I don't know how we got to talk about this. We were talking about ghost busting, but really wish they would have tightened up the script and got rid of some of the subplots and focused a little bit more on busting ghosts.
Agreed.
But even then, Jeremy, what were your thoughts on the main villain, garraka?
I thought it was a really, really cool idea. It's basically like Icy Satan. I like how there was a lot of anticipation, like a lot of build up, and they showed some darker scenes in the beginning. I do feel he got gozered in the end.
Gozer is in beaten too easy.
Way too damn easy.
Maybe.
I mean, he takes out all of New York City, basically. Comes in, takes out the Ghostbusters, and then, boom, come back, end. I just felt it was a little too fast.
I think you're getting at the whole subplot thing where there's too many subplots going on where
Also, yes.
yeah, his screen time kind of diminished because I think it was like the last 20 minutes of the movie he finally gets out of his prison because throughout the entire movie he's like pulling the strings behind the scenes and then when he finally gets out of his prison then it's go time.
Just don't feel there was enough of him.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Overall, I like the character. I like the whole backstory.
That's pretty cool. Well, I like part of the backstory.
What didn't you like, Jeremy?
Just the other subplot that has to do with this, the Flame Master. Not a fan. I
What?
like the character, like I like the actor, but I just don't like. I just didn't like the whole Flame Master thing. Like adding too many elements.
Uh, what was his name? What's the actor's name? Do you know?
Kumail, I can't. I'm gonna butcher it. Kumail
Nanjiani.
Nanjiani. Nanjiani. There we go.
I felt like he was like the standout in this movie. Like he did an awesome job.
Oh, he did a killer performance. I just don't like the idea of the Flame Master
Oh, Jeremy, how do you keep like an ice interdimensional god like under control?
with the golden Pokeball
Batman.
It was brass,
or Batman.
Jeremy.
Brass Pokeball or Batman. Final answer. I don't know, Ryan. What did you think about the Flame Master?
I loved the backstory. I love the idea of the villain, very real Ghostbusters-y. But all in all, when it was all said and done, I just didn't really care about him because I found myself during parts of this movie going like, yeah, he's cool, but I wonder what that 15-year-old ghost lesbian's doing right now.
Glad I'm not the only one that thought
Don't
that.
don't even get me started on that. Like I saw that whole thing coming like a mile away. The movie starts like a Robert Frost poem, like fire and ice. Like that's how you beat him. It's like, okay, now we got a fire lesbian ghost. Okay, I'm gonna come out and say this. The studio knew what they were doing, and they were a master at it.
100%.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because they
There
get
was
they
far
get to
too much
play
sexual
both
tension.
sides. They get to play both sides. They did it masterfully. So, for anyone who doesn't know, the main character of the both this and the last movie, it's Phoebe. And in this movie, she's like 15 years old, and she meets a ghost girl who died in like a house fire. Apparently, it was a house fire she started, and they become friends. And then later on in the movie, Phoebe uses like one of the machines in the new Ghostbusters research lab to pull her spirit out of her body. And
To be with Ghost Spirit.
yeah, you could tell like they were wanting to do some like lesbian scene here, but Hollywood's starting to get the idea that like if they push this like woke shit in there, they're gonna get backlash. And Ghostbusters 2016, we all know what happened there. Why I'm saying they masterfully did it is they kind of implied, hey, they're ghost lesbians.
Heavily implied.
Yeah, but at the same time, they didn't go through with it, so they get to say, "Oh, look, we pandered to the people who want ghost lesbians," but at the same time, we pandered to the people who don't want that stuff in their movie because they didn't go through with it. I gotta say, bravo, you played both sides, bravo.
Hats off to you.
Jeremy, what were your thoughts on Melody's character aside from the ghost lesbian BS?
I mean, it was fine. I get that they're trying to do this little force ghost thing now where there are good ghosts that maybe they don't have to bust. I get what they're trying to do with that, but it was just very. The sexual tension was very distracting.
Yeah, it was obvious. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
I was gonna say I was in and out of that, but I don't want to use those words. Um, I don't know. It had potential, but kind of fizzled out for me.
So here's the big thing, and I want your boys' thoughts on this. One of the important plot points in the movie is that, well, so let's back up a little. I was under the assumption that the idea behind this movie, and you could hear it in our last review, was that the ghost containment unit was going to get like breached. And I mean, it does. But what's actually going on in this movie is the ghost containment unit, it is full. Like there is no more room for no more ghosts. And Garraka is trying to breach it in order to like get a ghost army cuz he can control he's got like the ability to control ghosts. Now, you got too many ghosts. Jeremy, what is the solution for too many ghosts?
More ghost storage.
Well, yeah, but what's another solution for too many ghosts?
Mm, flush some ghosts down the toilet.
They tried that with the sewer dragon. Ryan, you want to get a crack at what I'm thinking?
Brass.
No, brass only counters the big guy.
Oh, I
It's
forgot.
the master ball.
I thought what they were getting at Melody's character was instead of hey let's capture these ghosts, it's gonna be like hey let's find a way to redeem these ghosts in order to get them to pass on their own. But the movie really doesn't go that way.
To be honest, I wouldn't want it to go that way. I really
You,
wanted a darker tone.
I mean, you kind of got a little bit of a darker tone, but I don't think you're getting too
Little.
dark of a tone with Ghostbusters. But I thought that was going to be like the ultimate solution. It's like, yeah, we need to start finding a way to redeem some of these ghosts. Like, yeah, you're going to have your evil assholes like Gozer and Garraka, but like these possessors
You
and
know,
stuff, maybe.
you know who I wanted them to redeem, and this is totally, I will admit, only because the real Ghostbusters is a cartoon. Slimer. I wanted him to squeak like Frank Welker, go over and lick Venkman in the face.
I thought that's what they were going to get at with Slimer, but they didn't.
It's an endless battle.
Well, that was another like one of the subplots that went nowhere. Trevor's whole character, like he did nothing but go after Slimer in the movie. Like, what was the point of even of his character anymore?
I don't think they had anything to write with him. It just they didn't know where to put him. Like, oh, you know what? He's just going to battle Slimer the entire movie.
Probably trying to do the whole Lewis Tully thing that they had planned for Ghostbusters too. Now, here's the thing, Jeremy. Did you know that the mayor was Walter Peck?
I did not.
What about you, Ryan?
I knew that was Walter Peck. I did not know he was the mayor. In other words, I was like, huh, I wonder what governmental position he has now. Is he still with the EPA? And at the very end, I was like, he's the mayor?
Ryan, I had the exact opposite
Did you?
position that you were in. I knew he was the mayor. I didn't know that the mayor was Walter Peck, though. Like, they did not explain that in the movie. You get the feeling like, early in the movie that yeah, the this mayor somehow knows the Ghostbusters, and then like I think it's halfway through the movie, he's like, I've been waiting 40 years to say this. The Ghostbusters are out of business. And then I don't think they say his name till like the end of the movie whenever Vinkman's making fun of him. I think he was like supposedly in like one of the trailers, and that's how people were supposed to know he was the mayor. But
I don't remember
I
it in
don't
the trailer.
remember that trailer. But it's just like one of the flaws of the movie. Like they should have established like right away, just reminding people like, oh, this is Walter Peck from the first movie. So Ryan, can you quote this movie?
Um, no,
What about you,
no, I
Jeremy?
cannot.
I cannot.
Would you at least say it's a little bit more memorable?
Hmm. Didn't Afterlife?
Yep.
Uh, it could have been maybe, but there was just too damn much going on.
Well, I take that back. I can quote one line. Courage, anyone?
Okay, yep, that was a good one.
It's funny how that liquor was still there after all those years.
Ooh, see some strong stuff.
Me personally, I think it's a little bit more memorable. Like, there's a few lines I remember, like at the beginning of the movie, Paul Rudd's character telling Peck, like, "You don't want sewer dragons flying around like it's Middle Earth." The viewers love the hammer whenever podcast is smashing the lady's sentimental watch. Speaking of podcasts, that was another character they crammed in that really had no purpose in the movie.
Nope. There's a lot of
I
cramming in
did
this
like
movie.
I did like Ray saying, "Be sure to like and subscribe.
You know what he didn't say?
Be sure to ring that motherfucking bell."
Damn right. See, you quoted it.
Yeah, but I got two.
See, another good quote. Phoebe and Ray were talking, and Ray goes, "Aren't you benched?" And Phoebe goes, "Aren't you retired?" Fair point. Getting ready to get into favorite scenes. So, quote my favorite scene. There's a sentimental moment between Phoebe and Ray, where Phoebe goes, asks, he's like, "Doctor or Professor Stantz, do you ever think about what it's like to be a ghost?" And Ray kind of thinks for a second and goes, "Every single day. What I'd look like, how it would feel, just like all of that." Like, I absolutely love that scene.
Great scene.
Like, you could tell, like, Ray really thinks about this a lot. But, Jeremy, what about you? What was your favorite scene?
No, I'm just kidding. Not the final boss fight. My favorite scene of this whole entire movie was that brief moment when they're running and Ray ran into the librarian. I love that.
Hey, guys, remember the librarian?
Hey, I love
I
that one.
thought, Cody, I thought of you when I saw that scene.
Dude, I said that to myself in the theater. Remember those tiny Stay Puft Marshmallow guys?
Okay, enough of the Stay Puft.
Like, I hate those damn things. I
The
know
librarian, I like the librarian, but the Stay Puft,
I,
enough.
I liked the librarian reference. It was fun. I mean, it got a chuckle out of me. I mean,
It got a chuck out of
it
me.
felt more appropriate than pulling a fucking Crunch Bar wrapper out of Egon's suit pocket.
Agreed.
What about you, Ryan? What was your favorite scene?
Favorite scene was when they officially canonized Ghostbusters 2. And my other favorite scene was when Phoebe figured out to coat parts of the proton pack in brass. Then Tony Stark that. I like that for some reason. I thought that was clever.
Thank God
She
that
had,
worked. It's kind of a gamble right there.
well, she had to make up for unleashing the fucking ice Satan.
She's not in trouble, Jeremy. Don't even get me started on that. She's not in trouble. She definitely got people killed.
Yeah, we saw some deaths. Not many, but we saw some deaths.
Unless they're gonna chalk it up. It's like, oh, that thing was gonna get out anyway. Now, here's a little fun fact for you. The budget of the movie, 100 million. The movie's only been out like 5 days already. It's already made $61 million.
That's impressive. It's tracking well.
So, Ryan, we're probably gonna get a sequel to this.
Oh God.
Oh, you know we are. They're gonna Star Wars this out.
Now, I don't know about you boys, but I kind of wish they would turn this into like a TV series or like a cartoon, because I think it would have done better if it was chopped up into like a whole bunch of episodes that had more time to like cook.
I just read they're supposed to be making a Ghostbusters cartoon for Netflix.
Are they?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Well, here's hoping. Here's hoping it's good. Netflix is really screwing stuff up lately.
Yes.
Now, Ryan, since you're the main criticism boy, got any other criticisms?
My biggest criticism is just because I'm old and jonesing for nostalgia that I don't get. I was so excited when I knew Peter Venkman would show up. I thought he'd be in more than, what, 3 scenes and say more than 2 things. And I just did not get the Peter Venkman vibe from him. I got the "is my check ready yet" vibe from him. And my biggest disappointment, I get people get old and they're not the same as they were when they're 30s. But there's a part in the end of this movie where Peter runs into Walter Peck at the very end. And I had been waiting for this moment. I had been waiting for Dr. Venkman to run into Dickless. And somebody says Dickless, but correct me if I'm wrong, it's some dude off screen.
Yeah, it's some dude off screen. I don't know how they would have known he was dickless unless it somehow became a
Yeah.
campaign thing. Since it was just the Ghostbusters, the old mayor, and Peck in the room. But that was like the scene where I figured out it was Walter Peck.
Yeah. But when he finally comes face to face with him, I was thinking, what's the Bill Murray, Peter Venkman-ism that he's gonna throw right in Dickless's face? And he goes something along the lines of, "Heck, you're a clown. You just don't get it." And that was it. And I was just like, "That's it? You just basically told him you suck, bro?" I was like, "All right, just give the guy his check."
He's done enough Ghostbusting. Like, just see you, Bill Murray. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll not see. We'll not see you again next time.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if they're gonna continue this, like, it's see you, Bill Murray. Like, he's done.
Yeah,
Like,
he's checked out.
like all the energies in like Ray and Winston. Is Venkman gonna be here to fight this big bad new guy? Oh no, he went to California, take a vacation. We don't have time to contact him. Okay.
He's with Dana. Remember Dana?
It's thinking it over now. Like, I think they gave Janine more character development than Peter Venkman.
Yep. I like Janine in this movie.
I did too.
I did too.
Like it was nice seeing her like suited up, and like I said, uses like the arm cannon proton pack.
Yeah.
She's ready to go down swinging.
I wish Rick Moranis would have been in it though.
Same.
I guarantee they probably reached out to him and he said no.
Even if it was just for a quick cameo, it would have been wonderful.
Now there's something else I want to discuss. Now if you remember, I mentioned this like last time, where they ended up catching like Gozer and like 100 ghost traps. At the end of this movie, they catch garraka inside their main ghost containment unit. So basically, they have like 2 interdimensional gods trapped into their systems now.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
So it's just gonna take like another Walter Peck to come along and pull the lever and release like gods. I wish they would have found a way to destroy these gods instead of like capturing them, because that's just passing them along till another Peck comes along.
Yeah, pretty much. Only a matter of time.
You gotta be thinking of these things, Ryan. The nitpicking boys for a reason.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done this. It's time for Tairimo Boys Fix It. Jeremy, how would you fix this movie?
By removing three-quarters of the subplots, giving more ghost busting, keeping that darker tone. I like the sciencey stuff. I like the investigation stuff. All that's fine. But for the good lord, not so many subplots. And figure out how to remove the flame guy. I like the character he can stay in, or the actor. He could have done a different character. Just not a big fan of that. I felt like he was just too plot armorish.
I mean, it kind of made sense where fire was keeping ice under control, but he did develop his fire abilities pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Pyrokinesis. Honestly, he was a funny actor,
Oh yeah, great actor.
and if they're gonna do more with the series, I hope they kind of keep him in. He doesn't need to be using his fire powers, but at least
Yeah,
give him a
don't give him such
proton
a big
pack.
role.
He could be a Lewis Tully.
There we go. I'm perfectly fine with that.
What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I'd lose a subplot or two, and I'd bring back Muncher and get rid of the ghost they introduced in this movie, Carpet Muncher.
She was trying to get some sloppy toppy like Ray did. Got it's not Ghostbusters review if I don't get to say the phrase sloppy toppy. As for me, like I said, I'm probably the one who enjoyed the movie the most. But these boys have some points. We can cut out some of the subplots, put more ghost busting in there, a bit more weaponization. Do what the video game did, where there's like a cryo beam, or then slime, and then there's like a Gatling gun with tracking rounds. Like that stuff's like cool. A lot of the ghost busting in this movie's done off screen. Yeah, I know they want to do the whole plot with Phoebe made a friend, but the lesbian undertones were just kind of obvious. And like I said, the studio knew exactly what they were doing playing both sides. But it didn't kill it. None of it killed the movie for me.
No, none of this killed the movie for me either. I just like to complain. That's what I do.
Meanwhile, Ryan really likes to complain.
I love to complain.
All right, Jeremy, pass the topic on to you.
I gotta say, with the cast, most of them, for the most part, we'll say, was spot on. Paul Rudd really held it together for me in the beginning. Through some of like the slower stuff or some of the subplots bouncing back and forth, Paul Rudd was still a breath of fresh air. How did you boys feel about Carrie Coon's character, Mom Spengler? You guys still feel like like the afterlife vibes where she like they didn't know how to write her? What do you guys think?
I think they did a little bit better this time, where they gave her. I mean, she's still like her personality is still mom, but they did a little bit more with her, where she's trying to keep the kids under control. Because the whole plot of the movie is Phoebe gets sidelined because Walter Peck is gonna go after them for child endangerment and child labor. And of course, she meets ghost lesbian and all that. But I think they did more with the mom character this time around. I mean, did they do what they needed to do? No, but I mean, there was too many damn subplots in the movie already. Jeremy, you're 100% spot on. Like the cast was still amazing. Ryan,
Yeah, I think we've covered everything that I think's important. After all, it's all about me.
all right, Jeremy, final thoughts.
With all the bitching and complaining that I do, this was still a great movie. I had a great time. It's absolutely worth seeing. And yeah, that's all I got.
Ryan, final thoughts.
I got out of the house for 2 hours.
I'm so proud.
And you didn't watch it when your heroes die.
Yeah, that's the big takeaway. Thanks, Ghostbusters.
As for me, like I said, I enjoyed the movie the most of the three of us. I'd really like to see more Ghostbusters, but I mean there are some major flaws in this movie that you can't overlook between the subplots and Bill Murray's ghosting throughout the movie, zombieing his way through the movie. But hopefully we get more and they refine their skills and scripting and all that, and we get something that can become a legendary Ghostbusters movie like the first one.
Ryan didn't watch his heroes die in this one. At least not a quick death. Might watch him die a slower death of franchising. That's a real possibility.
Yeah.
We will have to see. All right, Jeremy, on a scale of Ghostbusters 1 to Ghostbusters 2016, where would you rank this movie?
I don't believe in 2016, so I'm going to put them in order as I've seen them 1, 2, 3, and 4 being Frozen Empire.
What about you, Ryan?
I guess in the middle.
So would you rank it above or below Afterlife?
Uh, I'm gonna go with below Afterlife.
Okay, so same as Jeremy.
Yep. Egon was my favorite Ghostbuster after all.
As for me, I'm gonna rank it a little bit above Afterlife, and if you remember, I put Afterlife a little bit under Ghostbusters 2. So Frozen Empire is after Ghostbusters 2, just a little bit between the two. I liked it, but yep, there's flaws in the movie. Certainly not gonna beat the original 2. Alright, everyone. Thank you for listening to another episode of Tairimo Boys Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what you love the new Frozen Empire movie. Don't forget to ring that motherfucking bell. Stay tuned for more episodes. And Jeremy, do you know what next week is?
I'm sick next week.
Ryan, do you know what next week is?
Ghostbusters 2016.
Stay tuned.